Hey everyone. Um, I wanted to say, first of all, thank you so much for all the love on the channel and all the love that, I've been getting and everything like that. It really means the world to me. Um, I also just wanted to, say that everything that's been happening, in terms of just like some of the excitement and everything with The Walking Dead, and there's been a lot of conversation lately, but I wanted this live stream to be more like a video. I wanted it to be kind of one of those things, where I actually kind of just sit here and talk. Obviously, I'll be replying to comments and things like that, but I actually wanted to, get on and share my thoughts a little bit about, the Walking Dead spinoffs and everything like that. Cause I was kind of just laying here and I was thinking, hey, were the Walking Dead spinoffs a mistake? And there's been, some debate about it, whatever, right? Um, but in the end, I think that the Walking Dead spinoffs were not a mistake. I think that it's been actually pretty fun. I mean, for what it's worth, like think about it, right? If you take the Walking Dead spinoffs, it's, a couple episodes a year. We're getting like what, 16 episodes per year of The Walking Dead, which is kind of like what we were getting in the old days. And I really never looked at it this way. But if you really think about it, back during the Walking Dead original series, we were getting 16 episodes. And right now, we're getting around the same. Obviously, it's different stories and stuff like that. I don't know how people feel about that overall. But I mean, personally, guys, I have honestly enjoyed the spinoffs. I really have. I think that, I think that they're solid, I really want to go back and watch Dead City again because I feel like I'm kind of being a fake Walking Dead fan by not really giving season 2 of, a fair go or a fair try. Um I just wasn't that excited for Dead City, I don't really know why. It just something about it just didn't, grab me and make me feel like I have to watch this, right? But overall, it's still cool to me to have Negan and Maggie and Daryl and Carol, as like the main characters of the Walking Dead universe right now. I'm definitely not against the spinoffs overall. But it's going to be really interesting to see the next chapter, the next step. Guys, um, I haven't made a video in a decent amount of time just because there's really nothing to do, and I was really spending a lot of time with family over the last week and stuff like that. So over the over the next couple days, I'll have new videos out. Don't forget I'm doing the a look back tomorrow, and I'm doing a Q&A on Thursday, and then Friday I think we're doing a tier list. Yo, what's up? What's up, man? Hope you're doing good. Um, where was I? Um, where was I? Sorry, somebody had called me just now, and my phone stopped working. But I wanted to just let you guys know about that schedule for the rest of the week. Today's Tuesday. Tomorrow I'm doing either the Q um, and it's gonna be a fun time, guys. What percentage chance do you think The Walking Dead is going to come back for some form of mainline series? Well, I mean, it just depends. Um, I think they should, based on just some like projections and numbers that I was running. And I was actually using AI and just doing research on The Walking Dead yesterday, actually. And I was looking into how many subscribers AMC Plus has and how many people came back and watched The Ones Who Live and stuff like that and some reports and everything. And it definitely is not far-fetched to say that there's 20 million people in the world that still really care about The Walking Dead. Like it's really not far-fetched to say that. Obviously, there used to be, 20 million people in the United States or more probably that watched The Walking Dead at one point in time. Obviously there's like the live viewership and then there was, other forms of watching. I mean, I never watched The Walking Dead live and I've been a huge fan for, almost 15 years. I've watched The Walking Dead on like Amazon, or like I buy the episodes on YouTube or whatever, right? I never really would go and just watch it live. And that was even in the prime of The Walking Dead, like season 5, season 4. I was always buying it on Amazon, so I never ever watched it live. So there's a lot of misunderstanding with the live viewership. Um, when it comes to it, a lot of people don't watch anything on cable TV anymore because streaming services have really taken over. And I hate the argument that it's like, oh, you guys are just coping. It's like, not really. If you really knew the numbers and understood, just how the data works, you would not be saying that. The Walking Dead is still a really popular show. On the grand scheme of like TV shows right now, you know what I mean? In the modern age, like it's not like some, show that no one cares about. You know what I mean? There's definitely still millions and millions of fans in the world that care about the show. So I like Daryl Dixon personally. I the only problem with spinoffs or anything like that in general is like a story is gonna feel a little bit repetitive at times, but I don't think that repetitive is bad. Because if you look at any show really, like there's always like within the confines of that show, there's a lot of repetition, right? Like take a show like Lucifer, NCIS, The Walking Dead, whatever it is, right? Like there's a lot of stuff that's repeated, right? There's a lot of like just repetitive storylines, and it's like, but when you really look at it that way, it's like, okay, is it really really repetitive, or am I just kind of like dumbing down the story and saying, oh well, like for example, when you dumb down the Walking Dead story, right? Like people, you've heard like negative comments where they kind of dumb down the story, and they kind of just say, they simplify it too much. Oh well, it's literally just a group of people that go from one spot to another and trying to survive. That's like an extremely dumbed down explanation or like depiction of what actually happens in The Walking Dead, right? Like obviously that's what happens. Like they're in a zombie apocalypse. They're going from one spot to another trying to find their sanctuary and survive. That's what happens in the story, but you're missing out on so many plots and so many storylines and so many moments that are not necessarily just involved with, going from one spot to the other and surviving, because once they got to Alexandria, they stayed there forever, right? And they went to the Commonwealth and stuff like that. And I mean, it's like, it's not necessarily all about that. I mean, the story it's a survival story, and within that world, there's going to be some repetitive stories, but I think The Walking Dead has always done a good job of keeping it pretty fresh and making things interesting. I mean, they even went to France, like say what you want about it. Like I understand the spinoffs are not the greatest thing in the world, but they're not bad, I don't think. And how is that repetitive, right? Like going to France and all that up with the variant walkers and the research, like that's not a repetitive storyline. That's never happened in The Walking Dead, right? Like that storyline in and of itself is not repetitive. Like by definition, it's not, because they're literally doing things for the first time. It's never been done in the show. You know what I mean? So it's like, obviously when you dumb it down on that level, oh well, they're just going from one spot to the, you could literally dumb it down to that point and say that the spinoffs are the same thing as the original series. That they're just going from one spot to the other. Daryl went from Virginia or whatever, wherever the Commonwealth is and all that stuff. Um, from Virginia, where Alexandria is, to the Commonwealth. Then now he's doing the same shit in France. It's like, if you want to be that kind of person, right, and say that stuff, you can, but you're missing out on so many other plots and storylines. You know what I'm saying? Where it's not really accurate to even say that it's like repetitive, because it's like, well, what do you expect the story to be? What do what do you expect? What do you expect to happen? It's a post-apocalyptic TV show, with zombies. It's like there's going to be some repetitive elements. That's okay, right? Like it doesn't make it bad. Um, but it's like that narrative. Like there were so many like haters back during the day of the original series. I'm not saying that's you, but I'm just saying there were so many haters back in the day that would say, oh well, it's just too repetitive. It's too repetitive. It's like, dude, all these characters are so unique. All this stuff that's happening is so different. Like, how in the world do you think it's repetitive? Because you're dumbing it down and saying, oh, well, they're just going from point A to point B, all the way to Z trying to survive. It's like, well, that's kind of the story, right? Kind of just the way it is, you know. Let me read it. Also, do you think they will go, or how do you think they will go about catching Daryl Dixon and the ones who live up to the timeline of Dead City? Isn't it like 6 years ahead? I don't even really know. I don't even know what's going on with the timelines. Really, I'm not gonna lie, because I haven't been that invested in the story like I have before. And I haven't really watched Dead City. Honestly, I might actually watch Dead City season 2 tonight, just because I didn't even watch it all the way through. I skipped like 3 episodes, was just like skimming through them, like not really caring. Um, but Dead City to me is a it's just a mediocre experience. But I think there could be some potential there still, but I'm not sure how they'll catch it up. I've heard Dead City's 10 years in the future. I don't really know if we have like official confirmation of how far Dead City is in the future. I don't know, but I mean, it could be one of those things where you know I don't know. I don't know what they're planning on doing, but I know that Andrew Lincoln's probably coming back soon, which is exciting. But to answer your original question, a mainline series, I mean, they could for sure, and they definitely should. They need to. They definitely need to do that because, I mean, I think in the end, I think there's still plenty of fans out there. There's still a lot of people that are super, super excited about The Walking Dead, man. Like it's obviously still a pretty popular show, and the universe is definitely there's money to be made there. They could do crazy things. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Um, I just don't know. I'm not sure. Daryl Dixon season 3 was a bit Blair. Going to France was fresh. Stretching it out too far. I thought Daryl Dixon season 3 was probably the best season of Daryl Dixon. I'm not gonna lie. I think season 3 felt super fresh with just some of the scenery and some of the storylines in season 3. I thought it actually was like, I feel like it really gave Daryl more purpose, right? Like, I enjoyed the whole little town, the little Spanish town, and I enjoyed a lot of Daryl Dixon season 3. Towards the end of Daryl Dixon season 3, I kind of got a little bit bored. But like overall, I think season 3 was still my favorite season. Like starting off, the first like 3 episodes were fire. And then after that, it kind of just dwindled down a little bit, and the finale was kind of eh. The whole destroying the boat thing was kind of eh too. I was not a fan of that, but it was still overall like I'd give it like probably like a 7.5 to 8 out of 10 as a season. It was yeah, it was decent. It was good. I thought right, like it was fine. Season 2 was fine too. I've enjoyed Daryl Dixon overall. You know what I mean? I like watching Daryl Dixon because Daryl's my favorite character, so I'm a little biased probably, but I like Daryl Dixon. It's a decent show. Quality's great. I mean, the budget's great for these spinoffs. There's no denying that. The budget's great. And the thing is, if they were to combine budgets, if you were to take Dead City's budget and even the budget for The Ones Who Live and stuff like that, and the budget for Daryl Dixon, you could take that and combine that and do a huge show and still have good quality. You could do like 5 to 7 to 8 million dollars an episode, even at 16 episodes a season. You could do that. You could up the budget from what the Walking Dead original series was doing. Seems like AMC was kind of just ahead of everybody, with saving money, right? Because they never spent what they like had to, right? They always went cheap with the Walking Dead original series, and there were some moments where we all kind of saw that, right? Where we're like, they're going cheap, but I think it's because they were planning on doing this, having these like super, crazy long spinoffs and expanding the universe beyond, almost, what's been 15 years now, just the expansion of the universe, making it super long and just super durable like that. I think that's why they did what they did with the original series, because the budget for the original series was only like, I think 2 to 3 million an episode. Um, for a lot of the series. It was like 2 to 3 mil an episode, I'm pretty sure, which is really low for what they could have done. They were making way more money than that. They could have easily done 10, probably even 15 million an episode, even back then with the 16 episode format. They could have easily done that at points in time. The Walking Dead was like a freaking world phenomenon, man. It was crazy. But they chose to be, more frugal with it and more passive with the spending, which ultimately is probably why we're getting the same spinoffs that we're getting now, or that's the, that quality, that enhanced quality. We're getting better quality. The spinoffs are better quality than the Walking Dead original series from a financial standpoint, right? They're spending more money on the spinoffs than they ever did during the original series, and it's not even close. If you take The Ones Who Live, their budget was ridiculous. If you take Daryl Dixon, that budget is it's really high. It's a high budget, man. Dead City even, it's like Dead City's like 10 to 13 million an episode, which is really, really high. The Walking Dead was the original series was 2 to 3 million an episode. And it's because, they were, expanding it through, 16 episodes, but still, if you take all the spin-offs, it adds up to way more than what the Walking Dead original series ever did. And the Walking Dead original series was making way more money than what the spin-offs are making right now, for sure. No debate there. So overall, man, I don't know. I'm not sure what they're going to do or how they're going to figure it all out. But I think that it will be fine. I think that it'll all work out. And will there be a mainline series? I mean, I think there will be, I think there will be. There needs to be. There needs to be a more conclusive ending to the story. I was watching on AMC Plus the other night. I think the night before last, I was watching the Rick and Michonne, like, it's called The Ones Who Live, The Return. It's on AMC Plus. It practically shows Andrew Lincoln and Denai Guerrera walking through all the old Walking Dead locations. They also did one with Norman Reedus and Melissa McBride, and where they walked through the Commonwealth and um, did this and did that and walked through. I think they were like by the Kingdom Gate or whatever. They had some cool props and stuff up. Um, so I was watching the one with Andrew Lincoln and Denai Guerrera, and he was talking about the ending of The Ones Who Live, and he was like, and finish their stories, but then he said potentially. So it's like I thought that was an interesting little thing, and I mean obviously that's been out for like over a year now, that video, or that little show they did, right, with Andrew and Denai. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting because you look at it and it could be the ending, but it's obviously not going to be the ending, I don't think, because I mean Andrew Lincoln's in talks of coming back. So what's that going to look like? What's what's the scope of that? I don't know, man. It's driving me kind of crazy because I think the fans want the show to come back long term, more consistently. I think, a lot of us that are still here, that a lot of you guys that watch my channel that are subscribed to me, I think a lot of you guys would agree with me that, a mainline series would be sick again, right? Like we could most of us would agree. And a lot of, um, questions are being answered about that. And there's a lot of fans chiming in with polling and stuff like that, and saying they want longer formatted seasons. So it's just like, it's interesting. I don't know what they're planning on doing. I wish I did. I wish there was like an announcement, because I'd be sick. Imagine an announcement. Imagine like Scott Gimple coming out and saying, yeah, we are planning on bringing back The Walking Dead like the way it used to be. Like, that would be awesome. But because we just don't know how the actors are feeling. We don't know how much more gas they have in the tank. I mean, there's so many variables to this. There's so many factors here. It's very in depth. It's not at all. It's not at all like the shallow thing. There's so many aspects. If Andrew Lincoln does want to come back, like maybe during that dinner, right, like that he had with Scott Gimple the other day. If what, I'm sure he asked me, like, what are you feeling? What do you want to do? What if Andrew said, yeah, I want to come back. I'm ready to come back with whatever you guys want to do, like, well, what do you think? And then Scott's like, oh, well, I was thinking about a mainline series again, 10 to 15, 16 episodes. How would you feel about that? And then what if Andrew was like, sure. What if he was like, no, I don't really want to do that anymore. I'm 52. I'm getting old. I don't really want to do the whole 16 episodes anymore, or like, super long seasons. I'm not, we just don't know what was said. I would have loved to have been a little fly on the wall, just buzzing around Andrew Lincoln's head, hearing every word they said. I mean, that would be awesome. But we don't really know. And, Scott Gimple and AMC, they're always just super private, and they always keep things just on the down low, right? And they never really let anybody know what's happening. It's kind of all a surprise. Um, and I think the only reason they told us about the spinoffs before The Walking Dead ended was kind of like a damage control thing, because I think a lot of fans were pretty heartbroken when the show ended. And you see, a lot of YouTube channels and a lot of people, talking about it, and I think a lot of fans were upset. You look at, I remember watching Trev's Chan, um, back in the day, and I remember him sitting there going, oh well, we still have, the second half of season 11, and then we have the spinoff. So I forgot he was saying like, well, we still have 30 episodes left, guys. It's not going anywhere right now. It's not going anywhere, too quickly and stuff like that. But when you think about it, a lot of people, really missed it. A lot of people didn't want it to actually end. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But I hope they do something soon. And I think we'll actually have an announcement soon. I'm thinking within the next couple months. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But we'll have to see. If you guys have any other questions you want me to answer, now would be the time to let me know, because I'm going to be ending the stream before too long. I knew it was going to be a short one, but I just wanted to get on here and see who we could get in here and have some good conversations and stuff like that. So if you guys want to turn on your post notifications so you guys will always be alerted whenever I go live, that would be awesome. Also, guys, memberships are live on the channel. If you guys want to join the memberships and support me, these are the badges you guys get. I'll show you right here. So there's this one. There's a lot of really cool badges, man. Like we have this Lucille badge here. These are just the badges that'll be by your guys' names if you guys are interested. You guys can join the channel, support me. I made these myself. Pretty cool. I love this one. This one's cool. The farmhouse. Got Rick's hat. This is the 6-month one. So if you guys join the memberships for 6 months, you'll have this badge by your name every time you comment. You also get custom emotes and stuff like that. I thought this one was really cool. We have Daryl's wings, We have Michonne's katana. We have Rick holding the pistol. I thought this was sick. But yeah, I made these all myself, guys. And then if there's anybody in here that actually is going to join the memberships, and eventually, guys, 10 years from now, once you've been a member for 10 years, you guys get this badge right here. It says loyal to the end, the Walking Dead family. And I mean, I would love to see some of you guys with this by your name 10 years from now. That'd be awesome. So if you guys are interested in joining the memberships, go on a channel, click join. You'll come to this screen right here. And so yeah, level 1 survivor, you get these custom emojis and loyalty badges, also exclusive wallpapers I make you, stuff like that. It's really cool if you guys are interested. I'm also going to start a Discord server too, so that's going to be something as well for the members. But some of these badges look so awesome. They turned out really well. And we have like the prison badge here. We have Terminus, Alexandria, Resist the Commonwealth, the farmhouse, Rick, We're Not Too Far Gone, Michonne's katana, and Rick. And then the final badge, loyal to the end. So yeah, if you guys are interested in that, it would mean the world to me if you guys joined. So thank you very much. I just started those. Those are just now live. So if you guys are interested, also you guys get these custom emotes. There's a Judith one, a Lucille one. We have Daryl's crossbow, which I thought was fun. And we have this one too. Stay safe out there in the crazy world, man. That's what I always say. You know what I mean? So yeah, if you guys are interested in joining the community, join the community and support me. It means the world. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna go have breakfast, or lunch actually, technically. Thank you guys for the short stream. Don't forget tomorrow, look out for a new video. Tomorrow I'm gonna make a new video, probably around this time. It'll probably go live. It'll be a video about I think I'm gonna do a look back on season 4. If you guys remember, go to the playlist on the channel and look at the look back series. It's a fun series I do where we kind of just go back and recap seasons of the original series and talk about it, and just kind of like a retrospective look back, fun times, right? So yeah, we're gonna be doing a look back for season 4, and I want to try to continue that and get that series done all the way to season 11, and then eventually continue that into the spinoffs. Now that the spinoffs have been out for some years, and we could do like a look back on Walking Dead, Dead City season 1, or look back on The Ones Who Live. We could do that, right? And it wouldn't be like weird now. So, anyways, a lot of fun content coming, guys. So if you want to join the memberships, thank you. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Make sure you stay safe out there in the crazy world, man. I love you guys. Peace.